Hello, this is the UFC 324 prediction video, and starting with the main event, you can see here that I'm going with Paddy Pimblett to defeat Justin Gaethje by submission. I don't know which round. I put 3 for the sake of it here. Paddy's on a good win streak. He's much younger, so we gotta assume he's much hungrier. And lately, Gaethje's just been doing a lot of complaining about fighter pay, even though he's one of the most well paid. And I think Paddy's gonna have a sizable advantage, uh, just in height. No, well, it says he's shorter, but he has longer reach. We see how big he blows up after he's done cutting weight. So I think the UFC knows what they're doing here. They want to push Paddy on us, and Justin Gaethje's the next sacrificial lamb. Moving on to Sean O'Malley versus Yadong Song. This is a little tough. Sean's been kind of pooping the bed lately. Like, he was another one of those guys that the UFC was pushing onto the fans. And I mean, the age difference is negligible, when you're talking about 28 and 31. But I see Sean winning this fight. It'll probably be a fight on the feet for the most part. And I'm sure Sean will probably get the nod. So we'll go with Sean. And he doesn't finish too many fights, especially lately. So we'll go by decision. Next. Plus, he has all the advantages, length, height. Okay, next we got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Now, this is pretty tough. I'm going to say Waldo is going to win. I mean, we're talking heavyweights, so people say the age doesn't matter for heavyweights, which is kind of true. But I think Waldo's experienced enough to stay away from just the KO power of Derek Lewis. I don't think he's going to get suckered in, by Lewis pretending he got hit in the nuts, or that he's gonna kneel over from a body shot, as we've seen Derek do before, and then when they come in, he just unloads with a big overhand. And let's see, he gets a lot of KOs. So I could see him getting a KO. I mean, so does Lewis, though. I could see this not going the distance. I don't know. We're just moving on. I'm going to go with Cortez. Next, we got Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. I'm going with the younger Natalia. But again, they're both still at a healthy age. Fighting age. Alexa Grasso, Jessica Andrade, Viviana. I mean, she's beating top level competition, so we'll just go with Natalia. I don't like to spend too long on those fights. Arnold Allen versus John Silva. We're just coming off a loss versus Diego Sanchez. I'm going to have to say, ooh, this is tough. What are these people saying? Silva. Arnold Allen's been around so long. I feel like he should be older than he is. So he's going to be taller, a little bit longer. Let me look at this. Giga. That's a good win, but we already know Giga's kind of a flop. Those are decent losses. Calvin's kind of a flop now. Dan Hooker's, I don't know. See, Diego, Bryce Mitchell. This is pretty tough, but I'm just gonna say John Silva's gonna come back, get a win. Um, Maybe a KO. Has Arnold Allen ever even been KO'd? This is gonna be an interesting fight. And John Silva likes to end fights early, but okay, no overthinking. Moving on. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davidson Figueiredo. What weight are they fighting? Bantamweight? Wait, is Figueiredo moving? I know he moved weight divisions recently. So is he still at the division where he moved up from? But nevertheless, gotta go with Nurmagomedov. I'm saying Davidson could probably survive on the ground, and that the fight will go to decision. Moving on. Ateba Gutierrez versus Andre Pulayev. Ateba, of course, probably by KO. Who's this Andre guy? Nick Klein. I mean, that's okay. Lost to Leroy Duncan. This will be a huge upset if Gautier loses, but we're going to go with him by KO. Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukakis. I don't know. Bogdan lost to Dominic. This is tough. What is everyone saying? Bukakis? For some reason, I don't know the reason. I have no logic behind this pick other than I'm just going to go with everyone else. Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. There was a point where I thought not much of Charles Johnson, but then he went on this long win streak. And Alex is wearing a lot of losses to big names. This is tough. I'll say Charles Johnson will probably dance around on the feet. And I think Alex he's probably good everywhere. But I don't think he's going to outstrike Johnson unless he lands like a big shot. Next, Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Interesting because Johnson's old. And Alexander is kind of just... He's on a win streak, but he's kind of just back and forth. And Johnson's old, but he's on a win streak. I could see Johnson still being the better fighter on the feet. Perhaps everywhere. I'm going to go with Johnson. Just a feeling. I think his experience will win him the fight. And I don't know how he'll win it. I think he could go either way. Submission or KO. Chase Hooper, Diego Ferreira. Okay, moving on. Next, Josh Hokit versus Denzel Freeman. Now, this is kind of funny. Right? I feel like the UFC knows what they're doing with this matchup. I mean, I like Josh Hokit just because he's kind of obnoxious. And Denzel Freeman. I mean, people want to call Josh Hokit uh, I guess, a Trump lover or MAGA. You know, people don't like him because he's a MAGA supporter and etc. And people associate negativity with that or racism or which is all nonsense, right? I mean, you could be all those things and be a MAGA supporter, and you could also not be any of those things and be a MAGA supporter. But nevertheless, that being the case, for him to be up against a black man named Denzel Freeman is funny. And I don't know Denzel Freeman. Let's see. When. This might be a banger, and I'm going to go with Josh Hokett just because I've seen him fight, and he looked good, and then he also looks like he has he looks like he has a what do you call it? Like fight IQ. So let's move on. Like I said, I don't know Denzel Freeman too much. Or I don't know him at all, actually. Ricky Turcios versus Cameron Smotherman. I gotta go with Cameron Smotherman. This is probably a lock, and I'm assuming the odds are ridiculous. Maybe ground and pound. I do like Ricky. I shit on him before, but I do like. He has that one pretty viral post-fight speech, which honestly still gives me chills when I watch it. So, I hope he has a great fight. Won't be mad if he wins. But I think Cameron probably going to wrestle him, and Ricky's going to have trouble getting up. Yeah. Let's see, Cameron Smotherman had a loss to Ricky Simone. Yeah. Okay, we're not going to overthink this. And just ignore the KO round 2. And just the winner will be Smotherman. Ty Miller versus Adam Fugit. I know I've seen Adam Fugit fight. I don't remember who it was. Ty Miller is a big favorite. Is this his debut fight? It is. Adam Fugit's older, much older, but has a lot of experience. There must be something the odds makers know and the fans know for them to be so on top of Miller. So I'm just going to go with Miller as well. And what are they saying? Decision? Okay. So those are my picks. As you saw, some of them, I'm not going to pretend to give input on fighters or fights when I don't really have much background knowledge on the fighters. But when I do, I will give you my opinion. So this one I want to look at the odds. I feel like minus 205 odds are really good for Cameron Smotherman. I saw him fight Jake Hadley. I don't think I saw him lose these 2 fights, but they were to decision. And then when you see he lost to Zahabi, he won against this dude. He lost to a wrestler. Bernard Tapai, well-rounded, but also wrestles. I think Cameron Smotherman will do the same. So that's probably a good fighter to have in one of my parlays. Now this one, something that is throwing me off is the odds. So Denzel Freeman must be a lot better than, like I said, I don't know Freeman, but he must be pretty decent for the odds to be this close. So, there might be some value there. I don't know if to bet it up, like straight up. That's not my style, but like to have them in like a parlay. Having like some odd winners mixed in with some kind of like what I would call like hesitantly locks like Cameron Smotherman and Denzel Freeman, just to get that value from the plus 200 odds. But still going with Josh Hokit. Now this one, it's a toss up. Let's see, any other locks? I feel like Ateba's a lock, but I mean those odds are ridiculous. But if you have like DraftKings, you could still get some value. I'm using betonline.ag. So when I make parlays, I'm not able to mix in winners, and then with other fights, like on DraftKings, I could have let's say Cameron Smotherman to win money line. Then I could also add Ateba Gutierrez to win. Obviously, I don't want to have it as a minus 1,000 straight up win. But on DraftKings, I can have it as Ateba Gutierrez to win by KO. Or etc. There's a lot of options like that you can specify to get the odds much lower and still have it in your parlay. But unfortunately, I'm not able to use DraftKings at the moment. But he should be a lock. Umar should be a lock, and same thing with these odds. You don't want really to. I guess you could, but if you have DraftKings, you can find something better. Perhaps for him to win by decision or him to win above 1.5 rounds, etc. Whatever you're feeling. This one's a toss-up. I mean, obviously, the hype's kind of gone from... Okay, I'm not going to get into it. It's a toss-up, though. This one, for me, is a toss-up. I've seen both girls, but moving on. Kind of a toss-up. This one is... I could see this one being okay. An okay lock, sort of say. And for the main event, I think Patty is probably... He could be a lock. So anyway, those are my picks. That's what I'm thinking as far as this card goes. Everyone, good luck with your bets and your parlays. And I might post another short video later about, or just sharing some of my parlays.